So we have another set of stories, three of them actually, that just show the continued depravity of the Trump administration, ICE specifically, and just the entire situation regarding immigrants, both documented and undocumented. And so, three stories. First one is going to be the Supreme Court allows for third country deportations. Then we're going to cover the Florida asked the Supreme Court to let it enforce a state illegal immigration law. And then the third one is going to be about ICE detaining the wife of a veteran and mother of a newborn after routine green card appointment. I can't, man. Okay. First one's from NPR. U.S. Supreme Court allows for now third country deportations. The Supreme Court on Monday stayed a lower court order that required people set to be deported to countries other than their own to be allowed to challenge their deportation orders. The order focused on flight carrying several men from various countries, including Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Cuba, and Mexico, which was initially headed to South Sudan but ended up in East Africa in the East African country of Djibouti, in order to give the men time to dispute their final destination. The U.S. government says the men are violent criminals convicted of crimes including murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, and robbery, and said they don't deserve to stay in the U.S. Now, I call complete bullshit on that because remember the studies that came out regarding the people we sent to SCOTUS. One study said at least 75% people that were sent to SCOTUS had no criminal record. The other study showed at least 90% had no criminal record in either the country they came from or here within the U.S., sent to a slave labor camp for indefinite life. Insane. So we have, but Judge Brian Murphy of the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts last month said people must still get a so-called credible fear interview in their native language to be able to dispute being sent to a country they're not originally from. He said people must get at least 15 days to challenge their deportations. Monday's unsigned order puts Murphy's ruling on hold while the legal process continues in the lower courts. The court's three liberals, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, dissented. In matters of life and death, it is best to proceed with caution, the dissenters wrote. In this case, the government took the opposite approach. Okay, under no circumstance should we be sending people to third countries if they don't belong to that country. What the fuck are we talking about? I don't care what crime they committed. In this case, and in majority of cases, these people probably didn't commit any crimes. Like, can you imagine how fucking dystopian and fucked up that is? You came here from Mexico, we're going to send you to Libya. We're going to send you to Syria. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Do we have no, like, empathy or just care about, like, humans unless they're U.S. citizens? Let's be clear, this government doesn't give a shit about U.S. citizens either. But, like, they're making a very successful effort to dehumanize people who aren't U.S. citizens. Even people who are green card holders have been dehumanized. I can't believe what the fuck is going on here. The order is the latest example of the Supreme Court becoming the final arbiter in President Trump's efforts to accelerate deportations and minimize due process. Yeah, and all this is being done without due process. So it's, we say you're a criminal and we send you wherever we want. Does that sound okay to you? Even, okay, let's put some self-preservation on the line, since it's clear that, like, half the country doesn't give a shit about fucking human beings if they're illegal or even legal. If there is no due process when they can sweep someone up and send them to wherever they want, what makes you think they can't do the same to you or other U.S. citizens? You say, oh, what if they have a passport or driver's license? Whatever. No. You don't understand. When there is no due process, you do not get to prove jack shit. They get to say, you are guilty of this. We suspect you of this. So, tough shit. Like, I don't understand how people don't realize this, even from a self-preservation standpoint. This is a dangerous president. This is a dangerous president, but this is a dangerous precedent set. Like, I feel like I'm losing my damn mind here. The Supreme Court's liberal justices argued that the government's haste in deporting people to countries like South Sudan puts them at risk or torture or other unsafe conditions. I hate that we're framing this as liberal versus conservative justices. I hate that's the conversation that Trump has dragged us to in terms of our judicial system. It used to not really matter what a judge's background was, but now that's the only thing that matters. The court now intervenes to grant the government emergency relief from an order it has repeatedly defied, Sotomayor wrote in the dissenting opinion, which Kagan and Jackson joined. I cannot join so gross an abuse of the court's equitable discretion. Accusations of wreaking havoc. U.S. Solicitor General John Sawyer on May 27th asked the Supreme Court for an immediate stay on Murphy's order, saying it is wreaking havoc on the third country removal process. Maybe because that shouldn't be a fucking process. The United States is facing a crisis of illegal immigration. No, we're not. It's only a crisis because you say it's a crisis. And anytime an immigrant does something that's truly heinous, it fucking dominates the news cycle, even though you could do this for anything. Oh my God. If the news, you could take any group and cherry pick bad things and make them the villains. Did it with Haitians, with the cats and dogs, even though that wasn't true at all. It's crazy what is happening here. We've been over this time and time again. Every study shows, multiple studies show that immigrants, both undocumented and documented, commit significantly less crime than native-born U.S. citizens. In fact, several studies show that the introduction of immigrants, either undocumented or documented, into an area actually, get this, it actually reduces crime. But they don't care. They just don't care. Okay. Through sensitive diplomacy, the U.S. had convinced third countries to accept the men after their own countries refused, he said, but Murphy's order prevents that unless DHS first satisfies an erroneous set of procedures invented by the district court to assess whether the men might be tortured or persecuted in the country to which they are sent. Oh my God. Immigration lawyers told the Supreme Court that even criminals deserve meaningful notice and an opportunity to be heard before they're sent to a country to live with dangerous conditions where they could be tortured. Lawyers from the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, Human Rights First, and the National Immigration Litigation Alliance say that men sent to end up in South Sudan only got notification the night before their flight. They also say Mexico, for example, has previously accepted its own citizens deported from the U.S., suggesting that the Trump administration's process of removing people to third countries is intentionally punitive. South Sudan is a politically unstable country in Africa and one of the poorest in the world. Okay, that's all I want to cover from that one. So yes, for now, third country deportations, even if you haven't been from there, even if you haven't committed a crime. All it takes, since this due process thing is just a concept at this point, all it takes is the Trump administration saying you're a criminal and now we can send you wherever we want, whether it is to COTUS in El Salvador, a slave labor camp, or South Sudan, Libya, countries that are very unstable and barely a functioning country as is. Or if you're lucky, maybe you'll get set to fucking Gitmo. Oh my God, I just can't believe what we're living in. It feels so just unreal. We covered this story Friday, I believe. Florida asked Supreme Court to let it enforce state illegal immigration law. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier has filed an emergency appeal with the Supreme Court to allow enforcement of a state immigration law that recently landed him in contempt of court. The law makes it illegal for an undocumented immigrant to enter Florida. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams put the law on hold in April, predicting it would eventually be found unconstitutional. So that's pretty much, I'm not going to read the whole thing because we already covered it. But yeah, this Florida AG was found in contempt because he didn't, basically, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a new law. I think the basis of it was that if you try to enter Florida illegally, it's a misdemeanor, which is pretty fucking lax by Republican standards, but ridiculous nonetheless. And then the judge we're talking about here, what was his name? They have his name. Did I miss his name? Whatever. A district judge, put a hold on this, and the Florida Attorney General had basically wrote out a memo to his law enforcement, everyone. He's like, yeah, this is what the court said, but I don't agree with it and I'm going to appeal it. So you don't have any obligation to follow it. You can continue to enforce the new immigration law as you see fit. It's hold on, motherfucker. That's not how this works. You don't get the, and then he turns around, he's like, how am I in contempt? I told them about it. It's like, yeah. And then directly after you said that you disagree with it and you're going to appeal it so they can just continue business as usual. That's not how this works. And he fucked around and found out. So that's where we have. It's now going up to the Supreme Court. If I'm going to give you a not so bold prediction, I assume that the Supreme Court is going to actually side with this Florida Attorney General, just based on other rulings we covered, the ruling we just covered. The Supreme Court has been not the best on immigration so far. So that's where we are. Third story. ICE detains wife of veteran and mother of newborn after routine green card appointment. A Marine Corps veteran whose wife was detained by Immigration and Custom Enforcement officer during a routine green card appointment last month is pleading for her release. So another person on a green card getting arrested and detained by ICE. Adrian Clouatre, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, told the Associated Press that he does not know how to tell his kids about his wife's detainment. When his nearly 2-year-old son Noah asks for his mother before bed, he just tells him, Mama will be back soon. Oh my God. This is fucked up, man. This is fucked up. Since May 27th, Paola Clouatre, 25, has been held at a deportation center in Monroe, Louisiana. It's always fucking Louisiana, dude. How do they still keep getting away from this? Hours away from her home in Baton Rouge and their 2 children. Adrian Clouatre, 26, is also concerned about his 3-month daughter, Lynn, whom Paola Clouatre was still breastfeeding when she was detained. He's now forced to give his daughter baby formula and worries how she will bond with her mother due to prolonged absence. Do I have to tell you how fucked up this is? Like, I don't understand how so many people, just in general, in my comment section, are supportive of this shit. What's your argument here? What's your argument here? You have an argument? This isn't illegal. This is someone on a fucking green card. So what's your fucking argument? Because I know you're going to make one. Jesus Christ. Like, God, you people are so fucking deplorable. God, Hillary Clinton was right. She was always right. You are a bunch of deplorables. Holy shit. Paola Clouatre was brought to the United States from Mexico by her mother more than a decade ago to seek asylum. Following her marriage to Adrian Clouatre in 2024, she began the process of securing a green card so she could legally live and work in the U.S. According to her husband, that process was going smoothly until she learned earlier this year that Immigration and Custom Enforcement had issued an order for her deportation in 2018 after her mother, from whom she had been estranged for years, failed to appear at an immigration hearing. Last month, the 25-year-old was asked about the deportation order during a green card application appointment. So, okay, she might not have her green card yet. She might be in the process of getting it. But this is her punishment for trying to go through the legal fucking process like everyone else. Like Musa Madali, who showed up for his U.S. citizenship interview and was detained. For the hundreds of other immigrants who are showing up to their court hearings and their immigration check-ins just to get arrested. Adrian Clouatre told the Associated Press that after his wife explained that she was trying to reopen her case, a staffer asked him to wait in the lobby for paperwork, which he now alleges was a ploy. Officers soon arrived and arrested his wife. Marine Corps recruiters have frequently promoted enlistment in the services as a way to gain protection from deportation for family members, according to the Associated Press. But under Donald Trump's aggressive immigration crackdown, that deference policy has ended, immigration experts tell the outlet. In February 28th memo, the agency said it will no longer exempt from deportation people in groups that had received more grace in the past. This includes families of military personnel or veterans. As of June 12th, the agency said it referred upwards up to 26,000 cases to ICE for deportation. Tell me how this is making the fucking country better. Oh my God. In a statement, Tricia McLaughlin, a spokesman for the Department of Homeland Security, told the Associated Press that the mother of 2 is in the country illegally and that the administration is not going to ignore the rule of law. Motherfucker, your president is a convicted fucking felon who went around and dropped a bunch of cases on people who actually committed crimes, went around and pardoned people who actually committed crimes. Shut the fuck up. The projection is unreal. Adrian Clouatre told the Associated Press that he and his wife had just tried to do the right thing. The veteran, who served in the Marines for 5 years and qualifies as a service-disabled veteran, said he is not a very political person but believes his wife deserves to stay in the U.S. get the criminals out of the country, right? He said, but the people that are here are working hard, especially the ones married to Americans. I mean, that's always been a way to secure a green card. According to the couple's lawyer, they have filed a motion for a judge to reopen the case on Paola Cloutier's, or sorry, I've been saying his name different every time, I'm sorry, deportation orders are waiting to hear back. Oh my God, fuck this administration, man. Fuck this fucking just depraved ass fucking administration, and fuck everyone who supports it. Jesus Christ. How can you make an argument against this? This is just one case out of hundreds, out of dozens of thousands at this point. You think this is making the country better? You think this is making your health care more affordable, groceries more affordable, making education more affordable, improving your wages? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Jesus Christ, get a grip. It's not making the country safer either. God. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.